Well, I know in the case of Bartolo Colon and CeCe Sabathia, I would certainly think it's having the flexibility, and that's we always talk about with a guy like Giancarlo Stanton and Aaron Judge and why sometimes they get hurt so much. We think they're wound too tight, and that could go for really any sport when guys are pulling hamstrings and calf muscles. And I guess if you have a little extra poundage, I guess you would put it, and you're not so tight and wound up, I think it's a big deal.
Well, maybe it is, but I would just say it's really all about the player themselves and what they feel good about and how they feel about themselves, both physically and mentally. And, when you're let's take Gary Sanchez for a second.
Yeah.
He, again, is now mired in a slump. He hasn't had a hit
He's 0
yet.
for 12, I think.
Right. So this is not exactly the way he wanted to start. But the good news is that the Yankees have so many other players that, they can afford a guy like Gary Sanchez to get off to a slow start. Eventually he will turn it on and he'll come back and somebody else will be in a slump. But, I just think for Gary, to me, when I look at Gary Sanchez, I think he's too big. I feel like he is just too big. And he should lose weight. And I think if he loses weight, maybe his bat speed will be a little bit quicker. But I'm sure he was probably thinking in his mind, this is who I am. This is who I've always been. And, when I hit the majors back when I was a rookie, I took the league by storm and I was pretty much the same player. To me, he looks heavier now than he did when he was really at the top of his game. So that would be a guy I worry about. I don't worry about Brett Gardner not having a hit simply because Brett Gardner's been around a long time. And eventually it will come back for him as well.
Isn't it amazing? You got two guys that are hitless. Now, it's only 6 games or so or whatever it is. It's not a big deal. But you got two guys that are mainstays in the lineup that don't have a hit through the first week of the season and however many games they've played, and it doesn't matter. And that's a credit to them. That's not a shot at them. That is amazing to me that they can withstand that. And it really, they don't skip a beat because they have so much production up and down that lineup. I mean, DJ LeMahieu and Aaron Judge, just them two alone last night could have beaten the Orioles.
Yeah, I just think, my initial sense of watching them and listening to them and listening to Aaron Boone, they're all in. This is their year. They think they're going to win it, and then obviously they'll take the slings and arrows winning a shortened season. But with the expanded playoffs, I think it does make it harder, and I think it makes it a little bit more legitimate, much like what the NBA is trying to do, and I believe what the NHL is trying to do. I think the NHL and these play-in series and then the 4 7-game series to get to the Stanley Cup final make the whole thing feel legit, and saying that it's not going to be easy for the eventual champion.
No doubt. And the Yankees 3-1 through 4, whereas much of baseball has played 5 or 6 games because of the postponements they've had. They're 3-1. The attitude they have, the focus they have, and the way they are approaching this season, legit, I think they could go 50-10. I know that sounds crazy. I think this could be a 50-win team out of 60.
I wasn't, I was kind of kidding when I said 59-1, but the point I was trying to make is that they're locked and loaded, and as long as they don't have injuries they don't get hit with a COVID-19 type of thing, I don't see that this is like a freight train. I agree. Don't see it stopping.
Because Baltimore is going to have no challenge. I think they'll run right through the Red Sox, and Toronto's Toronto. I don't.
They will eat up the Red Sox pitching. Like the Mets, the Mets have eaten up the Red Sox pitching. It's just that the Mets pitching last night didn't do itself any favors, and plus they had opportunities in the bottom of the ninth with the running the winning runners all over the place, and 3 of your best hitters supposedly, and couldn't get a hit.